Hi, I'm California Trust Litigation Attorney Scott Grossman. It's very common when I get contacted by somebody about their case, they want to know whether, if they win, they can get attorney's fees. Well, in this video, I'll be answering the following two questions. First, if I win the case, can I make the other side pay my attorney's fees? And second, where in California trust litigation attorney's fees apply? California, like all other states, is a general rule that the parties to litigation have to pay their own attorney's fees and pay the costs of litigation. But like every law, there are exceptions. In California's trust law, there are certain parts of it in which a party that wins a case can be awarded reasonable attorney's fees and costs. I'm going to discuss the four most common places this applies in California trust litigation. The first of those is if you file an 850 petition and win. Now remember, we talked about what an 850 petition is in an earlier video. If you have proved all the elements of 850 and you've been awarded double damages, that means you've shown that there's been a taking by bad faith. There's a companion portion of Probate Code Section 850, it's Section 859, that says if you've proved all of those elements, you are entitled to reasonable attorney's fees and costs. And what's reasonable is decided by the judge who heard your case. The second place that attorney's fees applies is when the second place that attorney's fees can apply in trust litigation is during the defense or the objection to a trustee's account. Now the law sets a pretty high bar here because it requires bad faith, and that goes in two different directions. The first is if there is an objection to an account and that objection is made and defended in bad faith, then the person who has objected can be hit with reasonable attorney's fees and costs for the trustee. Now this is a two-way street, it goes the other way as well. If the trustee has offered an account and after an objection is made, the trustee defends that account in bad faith, then it's the trustee who can be made personally responsible for paying reasonable attorney's fees and costs for continuing to defend their account when they've done that in bad faith. The third place in California trust litigation that attorney's fees can apply is when we're dealing with a disqualified person. Now, it's not the mere fact that a disqualified person either is serving alone as the trustee or that they're going to inherit something from the trust. What has to happen is a petition has to be filed accusing them of being a disqualified person, and they have to unsuccessfully object to that petition. In other words, if a person is disqualified, and they ought to know that at the beginning, and they go ahead and they attempt to show that in fact they are not a disqualified person, then California law says at the conclusion of that litigation, they will be responsible for reasonable attorney's fees and costs. The fourth and final place I'm going to discuss attorney's fees in California trust litigation is in a removal petition. Now here things are not symmetrical. If you file a petition to remove a trustee, the trustee, either by the terms of the trust or under the terms of the probate code, is at least initially allowed to use trust funds to defend that removal action. If the trustee is later found to have defended the removal in bad faith, they can be forced to repay the amount of reasonable attorney's fees and costs. Now, this goes the other way as well. If a removal petition is brought in bad faith. In other words, if you make an attempt to remove the trustee and you're doing it not because there's a good reason, but just because of some sort of bad feelings you have towards the trustee, then you can be held personally liable for the cost of the trustee's defense. Now you know how attorney's fees provisions can apply to your California trust litigation case. Through the course of this playlist, I've done my best to give you an overview of things that you're likely to encounter during the course of California trust litigation, and I realize you may still have more questions and want more information. In the next video, I'm going to give you some helpful resources so that we can get your specific questions answered and you can get the information you need to determine how to best pursue your case. If you found this video helpful, then please hit the subscribe bell, leave us a comment. We'll be glad to respond if you do, and give us a thumbs up.